Are you struggling to tell stories about your brand, your offer, about your business, and what it is that you guys do? I see this as an endemic problem in the lubricants industry. People are unable to take what they do, what they sell, the offer that they have, the value that they can bring, and they find it really difficult to kind of craft a narrative or a story which is going to effectively connect with their customers. I see it all the time. Now, it can be a little bit intimidating to try and craft a story, especially if you don't have like a marketing background or so. So remember, I'm Rafe. I'm an engineer. I come from a technical background. I'm not creative. And I've had to find a way to craft stories about what I do. Now, it might surprise you to know this, but there is actually a storytelling formula which humans have honed over thousands and thousands of years, and it's called the hero's journey. There's a guy called Joseph Campbell who kind of distilled it down into 12 core components. I'm not going to go through all 12. You don't need to know that. That's for like people who want to really write fiction and stuff. For our purposes, we can distill it down into its very, very basic elements. So at a very basic level, we have a naive kind of generally, let's call them a kid, right? Often it'd be described as like a farm boy, right? Who exists in a regular world. His regular world is completely turned upside down or disrupted by some kind of event, right? And that's what's called the hero's call to action. Along their journey, they will generally meet a wise wizard who imparts special knowledge, which is going to help them with that journey. They will meet an evil foe that needs to be overcome. And then once the evil foe has been overcome, they will return with new knowledge and new respect back to their original hometown. Now, you might be a little bit incredulous at this point. Like, are there that many stories which follow that model? Think about a couple that are very famous, right? Think about Star Wars. The farm boy, Luke Skywalker, is called to action because the Empire kills his uncle and his aunt. He meets a wise wizard, that is to say, Obi-Wan Kenobi, who imparts special knowledge upon him. And then they have to overcome an evil foe, which in this case would be Darth Vader and the Empire. Now let's pick an older story, King Arthur, right? So King Arthur originally starts as just a regular boy. The instigation event is the sword in the stone, right? That causes him to go on a journey where he meets a wise wizard in Merlin, and he then needs to overcome various foes. In some versions of the story, that's Morgan Le Fay, the evil witch, etc. Now let's do something more modern. What about Kung Fu Panda? You've got Po, right, who is just a regular panda. There is a call to action because he's identified as the special one. He has a mentor or a wise wizard in the form of Master Shifu. And they then have to overcome a foe in Tai Lung, right? Kung Fu Panda, same kind of story. Harry Potter, same thing. There is a young person who is called to action because he discovers that he himself is a wizard. He meets a wise wizard in the form of Dumbledore. Then they progress and they have to fight against Voldemort. This story repeats itself over and over and over again. Now, hopefully I've convinced you that this story is a kind of like a formula for success. There's been plenty of stories that have operated on this model. Where people go wrong is that they take this formula and they say, I am the hero of the story, or my product is the hero of the story. My service is the hero of the story. We are going to write a story that shows how good our service was. Thing is, your customers do not resonate with that story, right? They don't care that you are the hero of the story. They don't want to see you. In fact, all it requires is a very, very slight tweak. All it requires is that your customer is the hero of the story. And when we tell the story, we want to be the wise wizard that guided them on their journey to defeat the evil foe. Now you might say, well, who the hell in the lubricants world is the evil foe? And you can pick, sometimes it doesn't have to be a person, it doesn't have to be a brand, it can be a concept. So the evil foe could be the unreliability of machines. Now let's say, for example, our hero of the story is a reliability engineer. The evil foe that they are coming up against is a lack of machine reliability, and you, as the service provider, are able to impart wisdom upon them, which is going to help them achieve reliability, right? So that's an example of a story format. Another story format that you can fight against, right, might be that the evil foe is a lack of understanding about lubricants and its relation to reliability, right? So that is the thing that we are trying to overcome. The hero of the story might be the lube technician, right? And you are the wise wizard who has positioned yourself to impart that knowledge and give them the impetus to convince management, right, of the importance of their job. There's so many different ways that we can tell this story, but all it requires, right, is an understanding of the format and trying to fit it in. Now, if you want help with crafting these kinds of stories for your service, absolutely just, reach out.